steps. For details on Paul's events, is under arrest book, most fabulous elusive t-shirts and videos of previous meetings and events. Check out his website, zenbitchslap.com. So to get things underway, I've very quickly selected a passage from some AA literature to read because I'd actually forgotten until I had Michael talking about it. So yeah, so I'm going to read from page 72, chapter 6, into action. So, having made our personal inventory, what shall we do about it? We have been trying to get a new attitude, a new relationship with our Creator, and to discover the obstacles in our path. We have admitted certain defects. We have ascertained in a rough way what the trouble is. We have put our finger on the weak items in our personal inventory. Now these are about to be cast out. This requires action on our part, which when completed will mean that we have admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our defects. Excuse me. This brings us to the fifth step in the program of recovery mentioned in the preceding chapter. This is perhaps difficult, especially discussing our defects with another person. We think we have done well enough in admitting these things to ourselves. There is no doubt about that. In actual practice, we usually find a solitary self-appraisal insufficient. Many of us thought it necessary to go much further. We'll be more reconciled to discussing ourselves with another person when we see good reasons why we should do so. The best reason first. Excuse me. If we skip this vital step, we may not overcome drinking. Time after time, newcomers have tried to keep to themselves certain facts about their lives. Trying to avoid this humbling experience, they have turned to easier methods. Almost invariably, they got drunk. Having persevered with the rest of the program, they wondered why they fell. We think the reason is that they never completed their house cleaning. They took inventory all right, but hung on to some of the worst items in stock. They only thought they had lost their egoism and fear. They only thought they had humbled themselves, but they had not learned enough of humility, fearlessness, and honesty, in the sense we find it necessary until they told someone else all their life story. Yeah, so with that, I'll pass it over to you, Paul.
Well, thank you. Obviously, this is the fifth step, and the opportunity to reveal secrets that you've been holding for a long time, I saw as a great opportunity. And I remember I had something that I had done when I was 11 or 12 that I knew I was never going to tell anybody. And then, it took up space, and you had to pay security guards to keep it protected, and you had to avoid that hallway in the storage section because you didn't want to like rub against it or have any kind of scent of it. And it basically occupies a lot of space. So I had the chance, I was sharing it with somebody, I was sharing the fifth step with somebody. And I remember I finally said it and he missed it, really. He was yawning or something, he didn't hear it. So I had to say it twice in like a minute, something I swear I was never going to say forever. So it was pretty cool. And again, a lot of that space that was occupied by the denying of it and staying distracted from it and avoiding it and all that was reclaimed, which is what I feel recovery is a lot about, you know. Recovery is recovering a condition that we've had before, let's say, and then it's recovered. We find it again, and it gets on its own 2 feet again. So the recovery of that space that was occupied by those secrets, or that secret, it was obvious. I could see it. And then I had another one that was a profound example, which is before I got into recovery, I was living in an area of San Francisco called North Beach, if you could call it living, really. I was sort of bouncing from here to there on a bottom. And there was in that area called North Beach, there was a market, Rossi's Market, on one of the streets. And I used to go in there with a very long, like, trench coat. And I would steal like some flat steaks and some 16-ounce beers, almost every day for months, because I didn't want to spend any money that I had on food or that. I wanted to spend it on drugs. So I was basically stealing to get some calories, really. So I did it a lot. And so when I got sober, you start going to meetings that you obviously never knew they were happening. And one of the meetings I went to was in North Beach. It was on a Thursday night. And it was a very good meeting. Yet in San Francisco, it's very difficult to find parking lot spaces. So I would drive around there a lot and to get to that meeting. And I would never go down the street where Rossi's Market was on, no matter what. I wanted to avoid Rossi's Market. And so it was obvious to me when I was in the Haight or anywhere else, that didn't come up. When I went to North Beach, it came up. So finally, one day I decided to go in there. I was about 5-6 months sober, doing the ninth step. And I went in there and I asked one of the counter people, where's the manager? And he says, he's upstairs. So I went upstairs and I came in, and how I was taught was to sort of speak about you're in a program of recovery, and part of that recovery is to make amends. So I did that and I gave him 50-something bucks. I didn't know exactly. I didn't have all the receipts of what I stole. So I said $55, which was a lot to me at the time. And I gave him the money and I walked out of that market, and I never thought of that market again. Yeah, this is what I mean. The way self manages our life is a failed system. It doesn't solve shit. It avoids shit. It denies shit. It distracts you from shit. And to me, where I had ended up before I got into recovery was I was really petrified of dealing with the old shit. So I just kept making new shit every day. Yeah. And what happened when I got into AA, I stopped making new shit. And then I got the balls to take care of the old shit, or at least show up for it. And to me, this is the process, really. I stopped making the shit so I could get back to the underlying shit, the underlying causes and conditions. And this is why it's completely necessary to stop drinking a day at a time, but it's not the underlying cause. It's not the exact nature of the wrong. The drinking is not the exact nature of the wrong, but it's imperative that we stop drinking. Yeah. So this idea of taking this opportunity, and the disagreement I have, because they flip a lot. I don't believe you take I think it's more like a business inventory, but there's a lot of feelings of it being personal. But I don't believe that the manifestations or the character defects that you or that are revealed about you in the process, I don't believe they're yours. Yeah, I believe self is what has defeated us through its manifestations, and some of the common ones are resentment, fear, and harms done to others in the pursuit of what we want. And there's a lot more subtle things. But basically, I don't deviate from when there's a resentment and go through the process of thinking they're mine. I just don't go there anymore, which is great. It's been a great relief. And that brings about a lot of reclamation of space. And also the act of guilt and shame, that's still activated after 40 years because you believe you do everything that's ever come through you. Like you've never been driven, you've never been compelled, you've never been, which is, they use those descriptions quite a lot in the book. You're driven by 100 forms of fear and shit like that. You're compelled to do this. You make decisions based on self. What is that but being driven? Yeah. Yet this this haunting of us now based on being the doer of shit that was 40 years ago, I think is easily remedied if you see the exact nature of the wrong. I humbly do. Yeah. And if you've done your amends, you did your 5th, 8th, and 9th step, you did the amends as best you could. I hope that you now see that what you call your role in things, there was another thing's role in it, which is self. Yeah. And let's start telling the truth about that, I would say. And you cannot believe how much space in your life is tinted or tainted by guilt and shame. Yeah. The past permeates our present moment quite a lot. There's a lot of stink in the present moment that's just is a conjuring up of the past. And it seems for many of us, it has such an influence that we're driven through this present moment by the past with the hopes of a different future, let's say, or the fatalism of it's going to be the same old, same old. I truly believe a spiritual awakening is just based on being present and available now. Yeah. That's what it is. And I believe we start at that. We now have grown into a belief that we're not there. And now we grow out of that belief that we're not there. And we found we've always been here. Yeah, that's my journey, so to speak. Yes, you've never left. You just believed you have. It always hits you this way. When you get whacked, it says it's always been this way. You were listening to something that doesn't think so. That's all. And that something dwells in the past and the future. So then if you're following it, or you've gone to such a point that you're identified as it, your life now is going to be based on the past and the future. It's insane to me, really. So, yeah. So, yes, the 5th step was incredible to share it with another person. I believe it's like a trinity. It's you, the other person, and the grace of the power. Yeah. I never think it's just me and the other person. I always believe there's a power greater than the two people that produces a massive effect. Yeah. So we just say the shit we didn't want to say out loud to another. First of all, if you're holding it inside, it's probably got the size of a mountain. When you share it, it's seen as a molehill. Yes. As long as it's in the interior landscape, it's a mountain. It can block you off from the sunlight of the spirit. It can do all this shit. When you tell the truth about it to another person, it downsizes. Yep. Just like it says, when you lose interest self, you're going to lose interest in your previous big plans and designs and see them as little plans and designs. So a lot of shit is proportional. It is. We see certain things that they get blown up to a massive scale. Yeah. And by sharing it with another and just airing it out, it tends to shrink. It just does. And then it's easier to get around a small object than the fucking Mount Everest. Yes. It's much easier to navigate through a small object than a huge impediment. So there's a solution. I hope, yeah, there's a solution. I like to get down to the exact nature of the wrong. I believe if you can see that which has defeated you as foreign to you, you can entertain being free from it. If you keep seeing it as you, you're going to be entertaining being free as it, which is another form of slavery. Yeah, just the way it goes. It's not personal. It's just not. If you're doing one thing, it's like Jesus supposedly said, you can't serve two masters at the same time. You can't say you serve the master called God as self, because that's the previous master, is self. You're not self. You know? So so we have ideas. Playing God, most important thing in recovery. It doesn't work. That's why. Where's there playing God? Yeah. And watch playing God. Isn't the head and the thoughts it presents? It presents perceptions and false evidence, and it just assumes they're going to appear real. Yeah. And it just keeps on keeping on. So basically, that fear that we live under, and then the mental anxiety plays it like an instrument, is false evidence taken to be real. Yeah. And usually, if you're afraid of being destitute, that's not the meaning that you're suffering from. The meaning that you're suffering from is, why do you feel how would it be like if you were destitute? Well, then no one would like me. Oh, and what does it mean to you if no one likes you? You'll never be loved. Oh, what does it mean to you? You're never going to be loved. I'm worthless. Oh, what does that mean to you? Well, I must have done terribly bad things to be worthless, and so on and so forth. You're never upset for the reason you think. It has other meanings. Yeah. The head is poured meaning into everything. Yeah. Let something else do it. Yeah. Let something else pour meaning into your life. Let's call it the higher power. Yeah. Let the higher power pour meaning into your life. And then you'll learn how to respond to that. Instead of reacting to that from the past, you'll respond to it in the present. And maybe that hope of being okay has become a disservice because you are okay. Yeah. You're putting off a condition that's available now at a future date. Yeah. Yeah. So in this case, the new boss isn't the same as the old boss. Yeah. The new boss, the higher power, isn't the same as the old boss, the lower power. It isn't. First of all, it has power. It's not completely frustrated by the dilemma of powerlessness, because the head believes things should be the way it thinks they should be, and they're not. That's the fundamental. I mean, the truth is staring it in the face, and it's in a dilemma of powerlessness because it keeps assuming it has power, which it doesn't. Yeah, it has the power to fuck you up, but it doesn't have the power to do a lot of other shit. Yeah. Yeah. You can maybe fuck up some other people's lives because they're in the tendency of loving you, and so now they're open to a defeat. But most people in Novato aren't concerned or affected if I go to jail in Novato today. They're not. They don't know me. They don't care. They're all rooted in their own concerns. Yeah. Yeah. So it's a small God that plays in a small arena. Yeah. Yeah. So that's it. Fifth step. You know what's beautiful? This process, because if you really get into the active step of the step 6 and 7, it's going to preclude you doing any 8 and 9, which is incredible. Yeah. 4, 5, 6, 7. You don't get to do a resentment list because you don't have any resentment towards anyone. And you don't need to make amends because you didn't fucking fuck anyone over. Pretty good. Yeah. So now you're living 4, 5, 6, 7, and then slipping right into 10, 11, 12. Yeah. And by then you're in the habit of being sober. Yes. So usually you're not doing tons of inventory every day, and you're not sharing it every day. So basically it's 6 and 7. And then the being habit of being sober is you're not doing 10, 11, and 12. You're being 10, 11, and 12. Yes, you've moved into a living of the message, not a trying to adhere yourself to it. You're living the message. So it seems to look a lot softer and easier because you're in a habit of being sober. Just like if I today went surfing, and I haven't been surfing in a while, it would be an arduous thing to put the wetsuit on. Even though when I was in the habit of putting them on every day, it was just one of those things, just put it on, go out. I'd probably have a heart attack when I hit the coldness of the water. Yeah. And one wave would tumble me up, and my neck would go out, and I'd have to go see a chiropractor because I'm not in the habit of surfing anymore. Yeah. When I'm in the habit of surfing, it's just surfing. All these things that would look like impediments, putting on the wetsuit, getting hit by that first wave, aren't impediments. Yeah. Because I'm in the habit of doing it, the stuff. This is what happens with us. We're in the habit of being sober. Yeah. Yeah, hopefully. And if you're not, you're in the process of getting into the habit of being sober. Yeah. And once suggestions become habits, you've taken out where the problem resides, the mental equation, because a habit is an action without thought. You don't think about it. I don't think about going to meetings. I think about which one. Yeah. I don't think about coming to this platform. I come to this platform. Yeah. It's not, I don't have a debate at 10:15. Should I or shouldn't I? And I have a very important thing to do. So, no, I just come here at 10:30. And then I leave. Today I need to at 11:30. Yeah. You see it, a feeling of a habit? You're not sitting there choosing. Your destiny is set. You're sober, and a higher power is directing you, and you're going to be put to good use, even though you may not think so. Yes. And then there will be recovery. That which you thought you were lost, that will be regained. Yes. And when it's regained, you realize it was never lost. You just thought so. You just thought that you did such a heinous thing, you don't deserve any good feelings or anything like that. No, 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 no. Yeah. All that you thought, I don't mean the outside, but all that you thought you lost in your inner world is regained. It's never been, you never erased it. You just became unconscious to it. Yeah. The conscious presence really is the antidote to an unconscious absence, which is the bondage of self. Yeah. The bondage of self is an unconscious absence. You're so full of self, but you're completely absent. Yeah. So you're like that hungry ghost. You got to keep getting more and more and more because you get less and less satisfied. It's just the way of an addiction. Yeah. You got to do more and you get less. It's a terrible payoff cost ratio. It is. The payoff gets lesser and lesser. The cost gets more and more. Yeah. Who's ever investing your stocks aren't doing well. Yeah. You're getting a very bad return for your investment. Very, very bad. You're bankrupt morally, physically, circumstantially. You live with the Wall Street crash every day. You hit bottom, hopefully. So yeah, there's a solution. I have one. I don't believe that the character defects that you're calling yours are yours. That's all. I don't believe that. I don't believe you're full of grace. I believe grace can come through you fully. I don't think you're full of shit. I think shit can come through you fully. Yeah. I don't think you're this or that. I don't. I feel we're just a conveyance of experiences and expressions and observations and stuff. And we have a camera tripod that doesn't have the ability of the camera, but we take ourselves to be the tripod, you know? We think the tripod is taking the pictures. Yeah. Try to put a Nikon lens on the tripod. It's not going to improve your seeing. Why isn't the tripod getting it? It's the tripod. Do you believe spirit lives as a thing, or does it live through a thing? Hmm. When I'm sharing and you have no idea what you were saying and everything, it never felt like it started from here and came out of here. It seems to start from whatever and comes through. Yeah. I would say we're more like a hose and less like the water in a way. Yeah. If the hose is enlivened by the water, it would be good to surrender to the water as the hose. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm happy to see everybody here. Fifth step, if you're just starting, just take the suggestions and just do it. I would imagine over time, your attitude and outlook is going to change concerning what we call the higher power. Mine went through an incredible, not an incredible, but an evolution of starting with that idea of a higher power of your own understanding and ending up with a higher power of its own understanding, which I think is quite revelatory. Why would I want to have a higher power of my understanding? that would make it a lower power immediately to the higher power of self. No, I'd rather have a higher power of its own understanding and let it tell me about it. Yeah, instead of me telling me about it, let it tell me about it. Yeah, it works better. So, yep. All right. Thanks.
Thanks, pal.
Yeah.
Got a question from Chris B for you. Chris, if you'd like to unmute yourself.
Oh, Chris B.
Am I allowed a question?
Yes, you are. It sounded like crispy. I was going crispy. Wow.
I have used that as a nickname once in a while.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I hope this relates to what we're discussing today, and it's something that I actually think I struggle with a lot, which is, I don't know how to put it, but you'll probably understand what I'm saying. It's the question of like, to what extent do we need to like create the life the action figure seems to want? You know, I don't know how, like you say, it's imperative, for example, that you don't drink. So there's some behavior or some lifestyle that like needs to happen. You know, whereas someone understanding non-duality from a head perspective might be like, well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you drink. So there clearly is some kind of getting of your life in order, the action figure's life in order that kind of needs to happen. It's kind of an obstacle. But that also sounds a hell of a lot like what most people struggle with, which is, well, once I get that job I like, and once I get this that I need, then I can't really get my life together till I sort out the action figure's life kind of thing. And I just don't know how to like balance those two things.
Well,
Like,
who's asking you to do the balancing? Just state that to what you call a higher power. I don't know how to balance you with something else. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you-
Just admit your participatory role is more about receiving than getting. Yeah.
okay.
You receive the message. Yeah. Something comes through you. You're wanting to get it. I humbly do not believe is a quality of you. I see it as a mental quality, that
Can I
wanting to get something. And then it runs into the dilemma of powerlessness because it can't get it.
can I give you a specific example?
Yeah, sure.
So I think I'm an artist, and so my kind of lifelong struggle is like I have the real job that society respects and my family does well financially, or I have this compulsion to create, to write a book or do artwork that can often result in me, you know, earning less money, just to be blunt. And so I just like I don't know I don't know if the art thing is my drinking or if the other thing is my drinking. Like I don't know which is the thing I need to and no message comes. I mean, I can kind of see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, one thing can change. It's not an either or. In a weird way, they both could go on. Yes.
Yeah.
This is one thing that I grew out of, was that either or. And then I saw things much more inclusively instead of exclusively either or. It wasn't black or white.
That makes sense. Can I just say real quick to everyone,
Yeah.
I don't mean to compare my struggle with alcohol addiction. That's something I don't really understand, and I apologize if that was
No, you're not, because you
misplaced.
go into the underlying thing, which is this idea of you that's thinking what you should do. You should do what it really loves to do at the expense of being able to take care of other people, or take care of other people and fucking feel severely limited around my creativity. That's just a weird way of looking at it from the head. It is. You can
Welcome to
make
me.
money doing what you like. It
I,
happens. Lots of
oh,
people have
totally.
fallen.
You're 100% right. I describe it as this like battle of good and evil, but I actually do have a balance. But
Yes.
the voice always tells me it's not enough. I should be earning more money or something like that.
Well, that's clearer right there. So the voice tells you it's not enough. Yeah. Just to disparage the enoughness that you're in. It's just the way it goes. Yes.
Yeah.
Like someone
Okay.
shared the other day, it happens all the time. Somebody that they were close to died, and then now they were pondering over, I should have done different things. Every fucking person with the self thing in their head, when someone that they know dies, the same thing, the head presents the same thing. You should have done more, or it's just the same. This sense of feeling like it's unique and it's coming out of this rare, exotic, bubbling water of ideas. It's not. It's like wearing a fucking space helmet. It has the same, it's talking about the space helmet has a simulation that it's on Mars, which it ain't, and it talks about being on Mars.
Is this consistent with everyone where like the message that the head tends to give is you're not enough, you did something wrong, you've got to get better, you're not good enough, you don't deserve to be here. This kind of, is
It
that like
goes both ways. See, if you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. See, that's the dilemma. It plays you either way. If you do something you shouldn't have, if you didn't do something you should have. It's not, it has an agenda. The topic it's pointing at isn't the point. It's to reinforce its own little agitation. Yeah. What it's making to be so important isn't the importance in it for it. The importance in it is to be playing both sides. Yeah. Yes, because there's going to be the you that's making a lot of money and not giving up the art, or the you that's doing the art not making a lot of money. Yeah. So it talks about two options, but it's the same character in the movie. That's always emphasized. You. Yeah. This is the bondage of self, the obsession with self. It's so obsessed with self. It obsessed with self. It's if it does or it doesn't. It's incredible. It gets so much bang for its buck. It's unbelievable. You do something, you shouldn't have done it. You didn't do something, you should have done it. You can't win.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah? You follow it, it's going to say, this is what you should do. And then when you do it, you shouldn't have done it. It doesn't, it tells you, it gives you the advice to go somewhere, and then it bitches about, why did you come here? It's just, it piles on all day. That's why people drink.
It's designed to make you feel bad, it seems like.
I wanted to get out of it. It was like claustrophobic. Yeah, it was, the rings of interest and attention was so tightly wound about this one ideation of Paul. It was fucking unbearable that I needed to get loaded to get a little relief. And I was willing to, after a while, I was willing to pay any consequence tomorrow not to feel this discomfort now. I would. So all wisdom went out the
I-
window. I don't
I
give
know
a
that
fuck
feeling.
to be arrested tomorrow. I'm shooting this shit up now.
Yeah,
And
I know that feeling, and I have my own
well, there
things
you
I
go.
do.
That's the yeah.
I know it well.
It's
Thank you.
talking to you as you, bro. That's all. You can't go that wrong by just saying, hey, it's basically false evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's doctored up and it's biased confirmation. It has an agenda you're not privy to, and it's using everything and making you feel like it's really about that when it has nothing to do with that. It doesn't. Yeah, it can say, this is what I want you to do for 10 years, then you do it, you shouldn't have done it. It doesn't, it's not. The dog it's into is in a different hunt, and that the hunt is the hunt for interest and attention, and it's getting it quite a lot by playing both sides of the should I or shouldn't I have done something. Yes, it wants interest and attention. It can't generate its own.
Hmm.
It's a dead idea that's filled with our interest and attention. Self is given life by us through the listening devotedly to the selfing. We take ourselves to be something that we're not. That's it. Yeah.
I mean, I see that. I really do. But I sort of sit here helplessly watching it happen, it seems like.
Great. Surrender. Yes. If you're helplessly watching and that's being made to be a bad thing, switch it around. Helplessly watching is surrender. Fucking great. You see, the perfect posture, it says, is off. Just change the emphasis. Like people are super frustrated, they're never going to get it. When you finally get, you're never going to get it. It's a huge hallelujah. The relief that's brought about by being relieved of an impossible task is incredible. Yet
It's
from the
very
fucking
clear.
head, it's sort of like, I can't fucking believe I can't get this. And it just keeps on keeping on. Yes. But
Yep.
really not getting it, hopelessly watching, fucking great. That's abiding in the truth. If you another way of looking at it.
I
Yeah.
totally get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yes. See, but something's giving it a flavor. It could be carrying another flavor. It's not fucking chocolate all the time.
Yeah.
Yes. So what was your worst thing that ever happened to you can be the best thing that ever happened to you. All your
have had that.
failures in pursuing spirit may be the greatest success. So then you find that you are spirit. Yeah. Wouldn't it be the greatest success if you were misunderstanding your nature and you were trying to acquire the nature? Wouldn't it be the greatest grace that it always failed?
Yes.
And you would finally be led to the fact that you are what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But all the way around, it sucks. It sucks. I want to, But finally, when you actually see it from a new point of view, it's hallelujah. It's so disarming, and it can be the end of stuff. It can. I'm telling you, seeking in a certain way has ended in my life. It ended in my life a long time ago, and it has never kicked in again, ever. I don't care who's the newest phenom savior who has melded this and that and is fucking charismatic and has a loving stare. I don't give a shit. I've seen tons of them. Dog shit awareness is the value. What's working right now, behind or below the scenes? Yeah, which is just a humble understanding that what you were taking yourself to be is not what you are. Yeah. So now, and in that helplessness, there's a huge power. If it's omitted, if it's seen as something that's a defect, it's not serving you. But if you admit the helplessness, there's a lot of power in there, a lot of power. Yeah, because what's thinking in you that's going to get it cannot get it. It cannot
can't
get
get
it. I've hit the end. My head has hit the other side of the pool many times. It It can't swim outside this pool. Self-centeredness is a finite condition. Finite. It doesn't have a vast spectrum. It's myopic in nature. Everything is seen as how it pertains to it. This is a very myopic view. You're not going to be a marathon swimmer in that little pond.
I keep feeling myself going this way and that and hitting the edge. And I, consider myself a great problem solver, a great smart person. Can't get a dent in this one.
Wait. Yeah. What's progress? Instead of running into the wall 50 times, you run into the wall 10 times. Fucking great. Yeah. Yes. You can be convinced here. There's an ability in us to be convinced. Yeah. A lot of us get convinced through failure. That's the way it goes. Our successes don't breed the being convinced, but failures do. Everyone that's come into AA did not come here out of virtue. They got backed in. Yeah. If we could have pulled it off, it would probably still be doing what it was trying to do so much. Yeah.
Oh, I'm here out of failure. For sure. I'm here out of failure for sure.
Exactly. So that's our greatest success. See, it doesn't have this sight, and it's not going to be trained to have this sight. You have to recognize its blindness. So you stop relying on how it sees things, because it sees things in a dualistic, very strange way. Like you shared just nonchalantly, it was either or. Either I'm a fucking great painter with rags on me, or I sell my soul to the capital or the corporate man. It's not, it doesn't have to be this way. It just doesn't. This is so dramatic. Oh, it's just incredible. It is.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks.
there's
it's entertaining, I guess.
Yes, if it's entertaining like the Daily Show was concerning news. That's why it's entertaining. If you still watch the news, yeah. The head is not it's not broadcasting truth, bro.
Yeah, it's hard not to believe
it. It doesn't broadcast truth. It doesn't broadcast from truth. It doesn't broadcast truth. It deals in false evidence. And it's trying to sell it to everyone so that it can appear real. Yeah. But it needs us for that to occur. And this is why it says, what's the first thing that has to stop? You got to quit playing God. It doesn't give you a giant reason why it doesn't work, basically. So that which is playing God, it doesn't work. It's failed at playing God. Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here you seem to need a new God. You can't rely on the God of the head. So you got to find another God. In recovery, we call it the higher power. In the Course of Miracles, the intermediary here would be the Holy Spirit. Whatever you want to get a name. In Sufism, it's the beloved, all these things. Yes. But basically, the only thing that's going on is what's going on. There's not God in me. There's not the devil in you. There's just something happening. Yes. I would say we're the space of it all, and yet we're appearing as a speck in the space of it all. Yeah. Our attention gets sucked into that speck, and we try to figure out the panoramic from the myopic, and the great success is when the myopic fails completely to figure out the panoramic, and then it shuts down and you realize you are the panoramic. Yes, that's basically the journey, truly, in my view. As a summation, that's basically it. Yeah. You stop looking for the panoramic from the myopic. You see the myopic from the panoramic. Yeah. And then interest and attention migrates from taking yourself to be that myopic view and now seeing yourself as a panoramic view. There you go. Allows you to travel lighter through the small things in life, because in the head, the small things in life become the big fucking things in life. Yes?
Thank you. Yes.
That's why it says we lose interest in self. And then it says, and we lose interest in our little plans and designs. When they were your plans and designs, they were always seen as big plans and designs. And he just gives the right proportion into it with a little stab, which is your little plans and designs. Yes? That's a proportional view that works. Yes?
Yeah.
Big plans and designs, little plans and designs.
Yeah.
Doesn't say there's not going to be plans and designs, but the size is based on the subjectiveness. Yes?
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
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 Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, man. Yeah.
Thank you. I think Sarah had her hand up, but she put it down. So
It doesn't matter. Yeah. Please. Anyone else, Rich?
Yeah, do you still have a question, Sarah? Or Sarah? Apologize if I
Hi,
got
I'm
wrong.
Sarah, an
Okay.
alcoholic. So this is really timely. This is my second time at this meeting, and you speak volumes to me, and I can certainly relate to a lot. But the timing of this, that I'm doing my 5th step tomorrow with I have a new sponsor, and it's only with it's only with 2 people, and I'm struggling as to how far or how deep I need to go with this step with her. Because I've done the steps before. I'm only doing this because it's a new resentment on one of my siblings and my old sponsor. And I've made the columns and I've done some inventory, but I'm kind of just stuck as to how far, or I don't know. It's just kind of new because I haven't done it in a long time, and it's with a new sponsor, and I don't know her that well, and maybe it's fear of someone getting close to me again, because my other sponsor just royally kind of screwed me. So I have a defense on my emotional aspect of how much I can let her in, or I don't know. Can you shed light on that for me?
Well, I would just go there and see what happens, Just follow the breadcrumbs. Yeah. If
Okay.
there's just, you want to just deal with what the problem seems to be to you on hand, or if it leads you to other possibilities, just follow that grace in the event. Yeah. I don't
Okay.
think I was planning on sharing the secret I shared when I went, but when I smelled the situation somewhere, it was like a great opportunity to bring this thing into the light. I don't think I was planning on breaking it to the person before, but I showed up and I responded to the space of the event. And I tend to go that way all the time, so to speak. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
I don't know when I'm not the one that's pouring the glass, so I don't know when to stop or to start. Yeah. I've just submitted the glass to be poured. If whatever, how it goes is really not up to me. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Makes sense. Yep. Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
And remember, like in step 6 and 7, we've already declared that this power to take all of us, the good and the bad. So that should be a past tense condition. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just remember you did say that probably somewhere along the line on step 6 and 7, we stated those prayers. Yeah. I mean, we made the commitment and something responded to that. Let's just keep living that commitment. Yeah. I turned my will, turn the will and life over to the care of something greater than myself. I think that's, I don't think I do that every day. I think I'm convinced of that and I live that. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I do like what you said, and I feel this way, is that I'm in the habit of living sober. I don't struggle with drink. I don't struggle. I recognize my shortcomings, and I'm aware, and I do my inventory. So that's, I don't live, I see when I live in bondage of self, and that's sort of, I need to unload what's heavy in my head to let go, to free my heart. And that's basically what like you said, follow the breadcrumbs and let it let Grace take over. So thank you. I do appreciate it.
Yeah, because hasn't that worked? That has
Right.
worked quite a lot. So I don't think it wasn't vowed to not work in 2024. I think
Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's just
still,
continuing. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, I didn't, yeah, yeah. uh,
Thank you.
oh yeah, well, thank you. I'm happy that you're gonna unload that stuff. Yeah. Remember too, principles before personalities. A principle in AA is sponsoring. It's a verb. The personalities are the sponsors. Yeah. Sometimes the sponsors will fail us, but the sponsoring, this is, and sponsoring can come at a meeting, can come from people that have no idea. That's to me is the working of grace. And what fails us are the personalities when they're put before the principles. Yes. So, yeah, it just happens. It's just the way it goes. I mean, we have a beautiful program, but there are people in it. So you get people
Right.
in it, and it gets to be dicey. It's just the way it goes. Yeah. But remember, principles before personalities. And that's what, yeah, even when you're doing an inventory on a sponsor. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what, when you're betrayed and your heart and you try to say principles before personalities, and she crossed a lot of AA principles which I didn't know about. So
Yeah.
to me it goes beyond, it's a threefold relationship, and she knew better and she took advantage of me. I didn't know better, so it's not my, it's a learning process for me. But I
Yeah.
can tell you that the wound is deep and it really hurts a lot. And certainly, praying and doing, and I hope this relieves me, but it happened in March, and I can tell you it's like my heart just went like this, and it's taken a long time to mend.
Yes. Well, one thing it will be great will be probably you'll never ever do that to another person you sponsor.
No, yes, she was yeah, I know. It's a big lesson.
Well, this is what happens, really. Yes, we
Yeah,
learn from everything. Yes.
right.
Yeah.
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 So she was my sponsor and became my friend and became my employer. And she just took the slice of pizza and threw out the whole pie and threw everything out and just cut me completely loose on everything. I didn't just like that, like the switch went off and done.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy that you have that situation plan to share about it all. Yes.
Yeah.
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 Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
So 25 past, Paul.
Hmm?
It's 25 past at the moment. You were saying you wanted to get off at half
Yeah,
past.
we're driving up north a little bit today, so we got to
Okay.
get on the road. Yes, thank you. That's a nice part to end though, because see, this is a beautiful situation. You run into something, and like we used to say, a lot in AA, that there'll be a solution to every problem you can come up against in our program, in the book. And it's nice to see someone living the solution. It's great. So, yeah, that was a very good demonstration that you shared today. You have something really bothering you and you're going to do the steps around it. It's great. Yeah. All right. So Adrian, nice to see you, my friend. Yes. John Florida, as always. Rich, here and now. Mark R, nice to see you, Mark. You swallowed a lot of canaries today, eating them. I can see the smile. Sarah, thank you very much for your share. Jess, L, are you back in, you're in Portugal now or Ireland or what? You look like you're dressed for Ireland. What?
I'm in Ireland, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I spent Christmas in Portugal. Was glad it was in Europe.
Oh, great. Very good.
Yeah.
Mickey, nice to see you, Mickey, as always. There's Miak. Yeah, there she is. We got Martin, Al in Vegas, Kurt Z with Ted.
Happy holidays, buddy.
Oh yeah, two of my favorite people from Redondo Beach on one couch. Fantastic.
Could be dangerous.
Yeah, no, not now. That's good. Stephen T. Nice to meet you, Stephen. Crispy, as always. Crispy. Joseph C. France. Nice to see you, Joseph. Andrew. Yep, very good, bro. Yeah, yeah. You know, there's so much value just being sober produces. Yeah, yeah, really. Michael Stacy, as always, thank you for all the service, Mike. Walter, Elana from Germany. I always screw up the way of saying the name, but I can feel it when I say it. Roman Mueller. Yes. James Lebowski. Oh. How you doing, James? You got enough cash for the half and half?
Barely, but
All
that's
right.
okay.
Okay, well, if you need I'll send you an IOU.
I'm trying to save up my cheddar for a retreat sometime next year. So
Oh, great. Yeah, you can come and visit us, bro. Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, anytime. Nick. Nice to see you, Nick. Karan, Karan Ray. She's down south. It must be blowy down there. Yeah. Yeah. Axel. There's some monstrous waves I hear down in Mavericks today. Axel. Nice to see you, Axel. Oliver from Berlin. I like Berlin. Steve Butler, Christine Kona. Nice to see Christine. Jules on vocals. Greg in Minneapolis, I think. Greg or Raven or something, yes? Arena from Germany. Atara. Samantha. Wayne. Grateful Dave. Becky H. Becky, a picture of the whole family. Jane G from the Bay Area. Hey, Jane. Thank you, everyone. We'll be here Saturday, 1 o'clock Pacific time on Zoom and live in Marin City. And hey, nice to see you all. Thanks.
Thank you, Paul.
Thanks,
Thank you, Paul.
Thanks.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Thanks, Paul. Great share, Crispy.
Thanks, Mickey. Good to see
Hey,
you.
thanks to all you guys too. Thanks for being here.